Did you miss me? I know at least one person did because I got a lovely message from Ashley, the Stitching Penguin, saying that she missed me. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, it has been a really long time. In my defense, I did actually film a Flosstube on Thanksgiving. I just never had time to edit and upload it because we're going to do the life update first. The condo is done. Everything's moved out. It's up here in my storage unit or in massive piles in my room waiting to be unpacked. It's clean. It's in the realtor's hands. And I dealt with that a lot more poorly than I expected to. I think because before that, yes, technically I'd moved, but I spent almost as much time in India as I did up here still. And I had a place down there that was mine, that I could go to and I could stay in, and I wasn't at the mercy of either being a guest or having to get a hotel room. And I lived there for 7 years. So seeing it empty, yeah, that was a thing that was a lot harder than I thought it would be. But it's done. So hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of me because hopefully now I'll have more stitchy time and life in general will just be a little calmer. And I'll probably do some more life update at the end. But that's the big one. That's why I have been MIA, and that's the good news, is it's over. And if you know anyone in Indianapolis who is looking for a 3-bedroom townhome, please drop me a line because now the goal is to get it sold. So anyway, I did film almost an hour's worth of video on Thanksgiving that is not going to be completely scrapped because in it I had a haul with 2 unboxings, and so I'm not going to go back and do that. When I get to haul, I will splice that part in instead of redoing the unboxing and all that jazz. But big news that I was in the video that I already recorded. So I have not 1, but 2 finishes for you, and one of them is a big freaking deal for me, okay? Big deal. So we'll start with the one that's not, because suspense, we're all about suspense, right? So anyway, the first one, if you've watched me for a while, and it would have to be a while, because I haven't really talked about it in a long time. I have a series. It was a Tiny Modernist stitch along from a few years ago. It might have been 2018. But anyway, it was their Words to Live By stitch along. And it's 13 parts. And what I've opted to do is to stitch them all separately. And then when I get done, I'm going to quilt it, make it into a quilt, and try my hand at quilting. Or maybe I will just take it to the quilt shop in town and have them do it, because by the time I get to the quilting, I'll have put a crap ton of work into this and I won't want to risk messing it up. So anyway, so the first finish I have is one of those squares. This is the 3rd one I've got done, so I've still got a long way to go. But it is, what was this one called? It was called Go With The Flow. And so here it is. You can't direct the wind, but you can adjust the sails. This is one of my favorite squares in here too. So there are several mistakes on here. I don't care. That's what makes it unique. That's what makes it mine. It's still pretty, it's lovely and bright, and I love the way that they all look so good against the black fabric. So there's one more done, 10 to go. The other finish. I feel like there should be some trumpet fanfare or something because I'm super excited about this one. This was Both of these I finished as a result of Whips Be Gone, which was hosted by the Devoted Quilter. And so thank you very much to her for hosting that event, because it did help me. The one goal, well, I set several goals for myself, but most of them I knew going in were stretch goals, because I knew I was so busy with the moving and whatnot. So the one goal that I set for myself was that I wanted to finish the Cryptid Sal. And I finished the Cryptid Sal the week of Thanksgiving, so it's been sitting here for a while. And I have a story about this. That was the week that the movers, well, the packers, because we actually physically moved everything myself. Me and my dad and one of my friends down in Indy, and then a friend that my dad had brought down from up here in Michigan, did all the moving. But I had a service pack everything. Well, they were supposed to pack everything. That was a big, huge cluster, and very unhappy with the moving company, because a lot of things that I needed them to pack, they didn't pack. And then several things that I didn't want them to pack. Okay, this is not the first time I've hired movers, so I kind of know a little bit how it should go. So I had my stitching futon. If you've ever seen my Instagram, every once in a while they'll ask you for your stitching space, and so I've posted pictures of my stitching space before, my little futon in the corner in my office. So I piled a bunch of stuff on top of that futon that I needed to be able to access, because I was still, I think they packed on Monday and I was going to be there till Wednesday or something like that. Oh, yeah, no, they packed on Monday and I was going to be there till Thanksgiving. So I had set aside some stuff that I needed, and told them, okay, don't touch anything there. I didn't think to tell them, don't pack my toothbrush. I kind of thought that would be a given. But they, especially since it wasn't in its nice little traveling case, toothbrush sitting on charger, traveling case next to it, got packed. So then that night I was ripping apart boxes trying to find my toothbrush. And then I realized that they packed about half the stuff on that futon. So they remembered they weren't supposed to do it. But after they had already packed half of it, and I guess they just decided, well, screw it, since we've already packed it, we're just going to leave it there. They packed a packet of important documents that I needed for court. They packed all of my stitching. Okay, I had brought stitching down. They packed this bag that had all my stitching in it, and then they packed, and this was the part I was most nervous about, was they packed cryptids, which was done. And all I was thinking is they just grabbed that and they rolled it up in a ball and they threw it into the bottom of a box. And it wasn't too far off, because it really was at the bottom of a box. And I was like, oh, so help me, if that thing is destroyed, I'm going to burn down their world. Because I was hoping to wash it and drop it off at like Michael's or something to get framed. And that didn't happen, because it got into a box, and it took me like 2 different times through all of the stuff to find it. So that was my big scare. But anyway, it's done. And here it is. This is on 16 count Olympia by Mystic Fabrics. In almost 100% the called for DMC, except for a few things I'll show you in a second. But here it is. Ta-da! So excited about this one. So as I said, it's almost 100% in the called for, except for my sea cryptids here. So if you can see, the Kraken and Loch Ness are both done with this was a hand-dyed floss that was given to me by Jo, Stitchy Cat Lady, as a gift. and I thought it would look fun with the sea creatures, so that's what I did. And I have enough left that I can use it for the siren on the Supernatural Sal as well, so that, which will also be done on 16 Count Olympia, so that they will actually be sister pieces. My goal, we're about to get an Arctic blast. It's 2 o'clock. It's supposed to start snowing by 5. We're supposed to get a foot, but more importantly, the winds are supposed to knock up. So we're under a blizzard watch. So in my bunch of time that I won't be going anywhere, I'm hoping to get this washed and ironed, and then on the day after Christmas, if the blizzard has let up and it's been long enough that I think the roads are safe, I'm going to take this to a framing shop that I found downstate, has really good reviews, and get it professionally framed, because I put so much time and effort and love into this one that it's going to be professionally framed. And if I ever get around to my goal of actually opening an LNS in the area, it's going to be one of the ones that's going to hang in the shop, so I will want to make sure that it looks nice. I don't know if that'll actually happen. That's my little fantasy. I think I've mentioned it before. So those are my 2 finishes. Whips. I'll start with the one I got the least amount done on. I took this with me to Indiana the week I finished cryptids, and go with the flow. It's keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see a shadow. It's another one of the Tiny Modernist words to live by. I'm not going to show you what it looked like the last time I had it on here, because it looked exactly like this, except for that letter A. So that's all that I got done on this one. Because this was right before everything went nuts, and I didn't get to do any more stitching while I was down there that week, because I spent it all digging through the boxes looking for cryptids and my case file for court, which I also found, so that was good. And then court got continued till the end of January. My new dog keeps getting further away instead of closer. Someday. But I miss having a pup. So what have I been working on? Honestly, not a lot. Most everything was done in moving. I did work on this. I'm not even going to tell you anything about it. I don't know why I even pulled it up, other than it was sitting here because I have to frog it. It was a stitch along I started that I didn't end up being too impressed with, so I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to frog it and save the fabric for something else. Not going to mention the name of the sal, because I don't think it wasn't a bad sal. It just wasn't, I started it and realized it wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be. So, I have a bunch of little stuff in my 2 bags. The All Sewing Eye, the Stitch-a-Knotty pattern by Mad Morti. I got a little bit more done. I think it was mostly the rays were done the last time I showed it to you. It's pretty much all I've gotten done is I've gotten some of the backs. I've gotten the outside of the triangle completely backstitched. So it doesn't look too much different because all I got in was the back stitching. I still have to backstitch the inside, backstitch the bobbin and thread, and backstitch the lettering. But there it is. This is stuff that didn't go with me to Indy, my most recent trip that I just got back yesterday. And there's the pencil I wish I would have had. Wrong bag. Also worked on a little bit was the Haunted Library Sal by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. This is done on 16 Count Brain Fog by Mystic Fabrics. The last time that I showed it to you, here is where I was. And here's where I am now. I didn't get very far because cryptids was the focus the time that I had this with me. So basically, I'm just working up here in the bookshelves, trying to get to the end of this page, and then I'll just work on filling in this page and kind of moving down that way. That is one of the nice things about waiting until, well, not purposely waiting, but just being so far behind that the sal's done before you get too far, is you can kind of decide what you want to work on and when. So there is what I'm doing on the Haunted Library sal. Another thing, I got a new start bug, but I knew I didn't want to start anything too super involved. That was over Thanksgiving weekend because I had a bunch of stuff that I knew I was going to want to work on. So I chose to start my Annabeth bookmark. This is by Taylor and Cromwell. This was in their Percy Jackson, Rick Riordan box last July. And so I worked on this while I was watching Wednesday for Reading, Watching, Listening to Wednesday. If you haven't watched it yet, I loved it. Oh, it was great. And it's going to come up here in a second also. But, so again, here's what it looks like. And here is as far as I've gotten. So I'm working on filling in Annabeth's name. This is done in the called for colors, which is mostly B5200 and 310 by DMC. But this blue is a hand-dyed floss called Mackinac. I love Mackinac. I live in northern Michigan. We go up and cross the bridge quite frequently during nicer weather because we have some property in the Upper Peninsula. So I just love the name of the floss, Mackinac. But again, one more time, here's where I'm at on that one. And I have two other bookmarks from this also. There's one for Percy and one for Grover. Grover featured in another book I just finished. I'm kind of peppering Reading, Watching, Listening to throughout today, apparently. I just finished the third book in the Trials of Apollo, so I don't think I ever mentioned that I had listened to the first two. I finished the Norse Gods trilogy, the Magnus Chase, and then I started the Trials of Apollo, so I've now finished the first three books in that series as well. And Grover just featured pretty heavily in the third book. I like that they're bringing in the characters from the old books are popping up. Okay. Next up is the Stiachalong. Today is December 22nd as I'm filming. To count for my team, they have to be finished by December 26th. Come on, Blizzard, because all I'm going to do is sit around and stitch. That's not true. I left home for 4 days. My dad didn't do any dishes while I was gone. I've got a couple loads of those to do, some laundry. Got some stuff to get done, but a lot of stitching time. So the last time I showed this one to you, here is where I was at. And I have finished I've caught up to the first 6 weeks. So I am on the personalized ending. This is on 16 count Silver Mist by Mystic Fabrics. I do actually use other fabric dyers besides Mystics. It's just, this just happens to be, these all happen to be hers. The next one isn't a Mystic fabric, but here's where I'm at. So I got the If at First You Don't Succeed, and if you've seen the finishes, you know which one I'm working on by even just that much. Can I finish it in 4 days? I don't know. We'll see. I'm planning to work on it a little bit, but I'm also going to have to edit what's shaping up to be a pretty big floss tube. So, but I've already got dinner in the oven, or not in the oven, on the stove. I made venison vegetable soup. So that is simmering away. So I won't have to stop and cook at least. So, fingers crossed that I can actually get this done. And then, last but not least, I got bit by the new start bug. I said I watched Wednesday and loved it. And then Forbidden Fiber Company came out with a kit. So this is Forbidden Fiber Company's Wednesday pattern. It says I do like stabbing. This is part of my haul because the this is recently purchased, obviously, since it just came out a few weeks ago. It came with the fabric and the flosses. So the flosses are the rather aptly named Wednesday. Which is just a gray variegated. Poinsettia. I love the variegations in that one. And then Pale Thistle, which looks very white, but, and I don't think they're going to show up on the camera, there is some very subtle lavender to it. And then this is done on 16 count charcoal by Forbidden Fiber Company. And so here is where I am at. Got the lips done, and now I'm up working my way from the top down. I'm gonna love this one. I'm gonna love it. But stitch along first. Stitch along first. Yeah, I'll put it away nicely later. Just go back in the bag. So there you go. Those are my whips. Plans. My immediate plans are to finish the stitch along. And then I would like to work on Wednesday. I would like to get back to working on the Haunted Library Sal. I'm going to look through and see if there's anything that within a couple of weeks I could tie up loose ends on. Because I have another Sal starting on January 26th, I'm going to be doing the Caterpillar Cross Stitch British Isles Sal. And then I just need to kind of take stock, see where I'm at and what I'm doing and what I want to do. Since I literally just got back from Indy from wrapping everything up yesterday, I haven't really had a chance to sit down and think about what I want to do. But I think the other thing that will help me is first week in January, I will do a whip parade. So we'll all get to see exactly where I am on everything, and maybe that'll help me get some perspective on where I am and what I want to do next. Haul. First off, I'm gonna go ahead and cut to the video that I recorded, what, 3-4 weeks ago now, and show you the haul that I had at Thanksgiving, because it has 2 unboxings and bunch of miscellaneous other stuff. So here's that. But anyway, haul. Like I said, it's been accumulating since I was at my dad's. So I have not 1 but 2 unboxings and some other small random stuff. First, I'm pretty sure that I am missing a fabric of the month that I didn't show you, but I can't find it. So I don't know what I did with it. My Be Stitch Me fabric from October. I don't remember. It's a pretty beige. But I don't really remember what I did with it, or if I showed it to you last time. So, I'm sorry. But I have my November fabric of the month from Mystic Fabrics. And this was a total experiment, and I need to email her because this fabric isn't color fast, so she said to email us if we wanted to wash it. I don't know. I always wash my things afterwards because I have very oily hands. So even washing and being careful, I still know I get oils and stuff on my projects. So this may be fabric that I give away if it's not color fast, because I will worry about stitching on it and then not being able to wash it. I don't know. But anyway, here is Polar Blue. And it really is a pretty color. Look at that. So nice. I don't want to give it away. It's pretty. I want to keep it. But I also think that I will just be asking for something that stains develop on later if I stitch on it. Even taking all the precautions, washing my hands, using the grime guard, everything, my stuff still always needs a wash, so I don't know. There was a needle minder sale, Needle Attractions. I swore I wasn't going to get into it. Facebook helpfully showed me a picture that from the album in my feed, and I was like, I want that. So then I ended up looking. So because I mean, she does a sale, and it was a reduced price if you bought 4. So why would I buy 1? Why buy 1 when 4 will do? So here are my new needle minders. The first one, this one is my freebie. So it's a Thanksgiving one. I'm going to turn the light off here. So it's Gobble Gobble. Not something I'd have picked out for myself, but I will use it. It's cute. The one I did pick out for myself on this one was not going to be focused. Oh dear. Oh, you still can't see it. It says crime documentaries and chill. This one, it's a unicorn in a bubble. Stay out of my bubble. Also very me. Number 4, you can't see because it's a gift for someone who watches my Flosstube. Can't see it. But the other one is, if you see me with a seam ripper, now is not the time. Which actually doesn't really fit me because I don't use a seam ripper on my stuff. When I have to frog it, I use a frogger. Because I am not a graceful person, and a seam ripper to my cross stitch is asking for me to have a big hole in my cross stitch. But the sentiment is there. If you see me with a seam ripper or my frogger, now is not the time. Okay, and then I have a couple things before I get to the unboxing that I was unreasonably excited about. The first one, I don't know who all else got this, but Stephanie Rohr, Steph Cross Stitch's new, or Steph X Stitch's new book. She was the one that did Feminist Cross Stitch, if you're not familiar with her Instagram handle, but I mean, she's so popular that I don't know why you wouldn't be. Self-Care Cross Stitch. Her second book came out. Over 40 patterns in it. I love them. I've been flipping through it a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm not going to show any to you because the problem with the book in terms of floss tubing is that the model is on the right-hand page and the pattern's on the left. So I don't want to take the chance that I would open the book and inadvertently show one of the patterns. We like copyright in this house. But some of the phrases that I particularly liked. Interrupt my bath at your own risk. That's totally me. Self-care is not selfish. I need to hear that a lot. Introvert zone, do not disturb. It's okay to not be okay. Therapy fucking rules, pardon my language. I shouldn't say I recently started therapy. I had a therapy session, and then after that, I had problems with, my therapist was not licensed in Indiana, and I was physically located in Indiana about half the time. So I'm hoping to get back into my therapy soon. If you can't make your own neurotransmitters, store-bought is fine. Pets welcome, people tolerated. But anyway, you get the picture. It's an awesome book. I'm really excited to have it. Really excited to work on a couple of things in it. Eventually. Add them to the list. The other thing I was really excited about was I was just gushing over my Jasmine custom bag not too long before I headed back to Indiana. Jen posted another bag that usually she makes them custom for people, but occasionally she'll post something for sale. And I fell in love with this one, and my timing was right that I just happened to get one of these bags. I think there were like 3 or 4 that she made. But it's Raven themed, like Edgar Allan Poe type theme. So here is my new bag. I love it. You can get some more of that pattern on the back. Nevermore, that's what it was called, Nevermore. Skulls printed on the inside, and both of the zipper pulls, I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, are skulls. So excited about this. And like I said, they're huge. It fits an 11 by 11 Q-snap, so when I'm going somewhere, I don't have to take my Q-snap out, or take my work out of the Q-snap and then try to like tote the Q-snap along with the project bag, because it fits. So now I have 2 of them, and they're very different. It's funny because it's the different sides of my personality. Bright and beachy, dark. So that's that. But wait, there's more. This one has probably been unboxed by multiple people since it arrived shortly after I left. So I'll do my Black Needle Society Gods and Mythology box last, so that if you've already seen it, that you can move on with your day. But first I have my, this should be my Golden Girls box from Taylor and Cromwell. Okay, so here we go. It's a Golden Girls scissor holder. A Golden Girls needle minder. It's rose. And then there is the kit. So this is Blanche. What it says is the kit is for one of the 4 patterns included in the booklet. So I'm going to take a look here really quick. Yes. So the kit is for Blanche, but there are bonus patterns for the other 3. My friends, there were a group of 4 of us at my old job, and we called ourselves the Golden Girls, and we joked that we were going to retire to Florida together. And we each had kind of like, we'd each been assigned a specific Golden Girl that kind of matched our personality. And I was Dorothy, and I actually have a pin that they gave me that says, "No, I will not have a nice day." So, oh, so fun. I will have to do these. It looks like each one ends up being about 4.5 by 5.5 plus a little bit in size. So also includes the fabric and the floss and needle. So that's my Golden Girls kit. Let's switch out the fabric so that I can do all 4 on the same fabric, even though that's just a 14 count white Aida. Why be boring, right? So, next up, Black Needle Society box. Oh dear. So this is the Gods, Monsters, and Mythology box. Oh, I see one of my favorite words right off the bat that's somewhere in here. But first things first, I've got a Stories in the Stars start square. It's 4 constellations. Hercules, Cassiopeia, Ursa Major, and Ursa Minor. So, if you know your constellations, those are in there. Exclusive hand-dyed Athena Notions bag. Handmade by Stitching Goddess Designs, Athena. So here we are, Athena, the goddess of arts and crafts. So a little notions bag to store stuff in. Specialty flosses. Hand dyed by Dyeing for Sass. Inspired by Hercules and the Morti's thread of human life. The colors complement each other. Dyed exclusively for this box. So we have Persephone. We know I love me some purples. And the Fates. Oh, I love this. It's got blues and purples in it. And it looks like maybe even a little bit of greens. I like that. Very nice. Needle minder. It's the Medusa shield. Again, you're not going to be able to see this because it's so shiny. But like it. This is what I was excited about. I saw this word tea on my list. This is Nectar of the Gods black tea. This is made by Adagio Teas, which is actually one of my favorite tea companies. I have a ton of Adagio teas, so I'm super excited about that. Blended with black tea, Ceylon tea, raspberry leaves, pomegranate, raspberries, cranberries, spice, orange, cinnamon, cranberries, ginger, cloves, and cardamom. So it's a chai. Brewing that in the morning. Yes. Nine Muses notepad. They're cute. Oh, a little risque. This is the Forbidden Fruit mug. I mean, there's nothing completely untoward, but that is just an interesting picture. I want to see what they have to say about this. Oh, it's the story of Hades and Persephone. So I guess that is Hades and Persephone. A Pandora zipper pull, which I don't think you'll be able to see really, but it is Pandora opening the box, which is actually an urn, but and last but not least is the pattern. I always like to save it for last. It's by Satsuma Street. Very excited to see that. Love Satsuma Street. Don't have nearly enough of their patterns. So this is the Goddess Athena. So there you go. Another highly satisfactory box from Black Needle Society. I love it when there's There's tea in a box. I also have my fireside chat tea from my Edgar Allan Poe box not too long ago that I have been drinking my way through now that it's been a little cooler. So there you go. That's my haul. Okay, so you got that. I've got other stuff and things. I've got some non-stitchy stuff that is stitch adjacent. And that was Stiachalong had their, they had the t-shirt sale, they had the amnesty, and then when they do the amnesty, they put up some other stuff. So I got my Stiachalong 8 t-shirt. Cross stitch, reduces stress, with Bobby Bobbinator on it. And all the teams on the back. Team Introverted Procrastinators is somewhere in here. Right here. Team Introverted Procrastinators. It's my team. We're about in the middle this year. We're not doing bad for us. I had one of these. It broke while I was moving, so it was great that Amnesty came up and they had a few of these left. My Stiach mug, they laughed at my needlework. I laughed at their stitches because I love this mug, which is why it was in the dishwasher. And then when I went to unload the dishwasher and try to pack it, it broke. Surely you can take another project on. Stiachalong sticker. And then I got the new Stork logo tote bag. Stiach Fine Needle Art with the stork scissors. Fabrics of the month. I have 2 new ones to show you. The first one, my December fabric of the month from Mystic, was Rouge 16, my 16 count Ada, a nice lovely non-Christmas red. So at least that's kind of what it was intended to be. And then my November fabric of the month from Be Stitch Me was my neutral month. So here is Portobello. Nice, pretty mushroom. And with them, I get a 32 count Lugana. From the Primitive Hair, I got something I don't know if I've ever mentioned anymore. Everybody knows my love of foxes and my love of flamingos. My sorority, our mascot is the squirrel, so I also collect a lot of squirrel stuff, which I may have mentioned before. And also in my sorority, my family line was the duck family, so I also collect a lot of duck stuff. But from the Primitive Hair, I got these squirrel scissors. They're so cute. And since I wasn't going to have something come all the way from the Primitive Hair, just scissors, I also got this linen that I have been wanting for a while. It's the 30 count Dark Spell Big Cut. And I have a project, and I don't remember which project it is right now, but I remember it called for dark spell big cut, and at the time they were out of the big cut, they only had the small cut. So yeah, now I've got it. So whenever I remember what that project was, I have the fabric for it. And then the last thing that I got, Tiny Modernist. I got this through Mystic Fabrics. Tiny Modernist came out with a set of 4 tropical Christmas cross-stitch patterns. It has mermaids and it has flamingos and palm trees and surfing Santa. So of course I had to get this one, and I loves it. So that's my haul. Reading, watching, listening to, I've peppered some of this stuff in. I've watched a lot of documentaries. I watched the one on Netflix about the Texas killing fields. I also watched the, it was called Don't Pick Up the Phone. It was about this guy that was calling all over the country he would call in fast food restaurants and talk to the manager and would somehow manage to convince them that he was a police officer and that there was an employee that needed to be strip searched, and he would convince these people over the phone to strip search employees. It was really bizarre. Really bizarre. I watched Wednesday. I watched a bunch of other documentaries, and offhand I don't remember right now what they all were, because it's been like months since I've talked to y'all. I watched. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Told you about the books I'd been listening to on audiobook on my traveling back and forth. I finished one hard copy book I've had for a long time, and I just forgot about it. It's called Working Stiff, 2 years, 262 bodies, and the making of a medical examiner. For someone like me who's into science and who's into forensics, the real stuff, not what you see on TV, and has just always been fascinated by this. This was a really, really interesting read. She just talks about the different types of bodies that she saw working her fellowship in New York City at the OCME. And yeah, it was really interesting. Okay, picking back up in the middle, my dad came home and I had to, well, actually had to talk to him. That's the reason I'm here. But anyway, yes, really liked this book. I can't really think of much else. So, yeah. All of this, I got back on, if you would have given me 30 more seconds, I would have been done. Because, yeah, that's all I really have. Life updates. Blizzard. It's started to snow already. Not too bad yet, but blizzard, holiday, house, chill. Everything is finally chill, and I should have some time to work on some stitching now, if I ever get this to work. I'm having some problems getting the video that I shot on Thanksgiving uploaded to my computer because it's big and my computer is old and full and doesn't want to take it. So if I do get it uploaded, it might look funky, it might look washed out, and if it does, I'm sorry, but I have now uploaded it 6 times, and every single time there's been a problem with the upload and it's looked washed out and nasty, and I've had about enough of attempting it. So I'm gonna stop. And So I hope that everybody has a wonderful holiday, whichever holiday that you celebrate. I hope that it is safe and warm, and that you don't have to go out in this, because I know that it's affecting most of the country in some way, be it temperatures or lots of rain or lots of snow. We're supposed to get, I've seen forecasts anywhere from 9 inches to over a foot. So I don't know, more concerned about the winds, but all the phones are charged, and all of my entertainment stuff is charged, and if worse comes to worse, the farm has a generator, and if we are too long without heat, or I have well water, so if we're too long without water, I do have some place to go where we can't pull too much electricity, obviously, because the reason they have a generator is to make sure that the food and water systems for the animals continue running. So that's first priority, but I can at least go someplace that will be warm. So yeah, hope everybody has a wonderful holiday, whichever one it is. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time, which I promise will not be several months. Bye.